Bro, I'm so glad I got you to do this, man.
All right, as aforementioned, this is a Rod and Piston 5.3 with a BTR, twin turbo cam, and springs and all to match it. This motor, it came with the MSD coils on it. The factory coils probably would be just fine for this unit, but hey, it is what it is. We've got Speed Engineering headers. I believe these are I believe we ordered 1 3/4 for these to go into a 3-inch collector. He's ordered a stainless exhaust with the X pipe and Black Widow mufflers that I'm going to put on here later on. Depending on when I get this video edited, it may be in here. But anyways, for folks doing these swaps, now this is actually the old style Saginaw pump from, you know, the original truck. However, here's a piece of advice for anybody doing these swaps and you're using like the modern power steering pump. I don't know if I got enough camera light here to show this, but your high pressure line fitting here in the back, from the newer model trucks, so the NBS body style trucks, that fitting, you can actually take that out of those pumps and use your, you know, 80s model high pressure line fitting and go in the back of these pumps. If you do these swaps and you use the newer style power steering pump, it will thread in there, and I've done that a bunch of times and it's perfect. Anyways, like I said, we've got FI Tech fuel management or whatever. It's actually my first time dealing with them, so it isn't too bad. Back behind here, I've got, you know, nut certs to hold this up in place. Fuse box and all. I probably could have loomed the wire back or deloomed it and then, you know, tried to mount the fuse box somewhere else, but hey, you know, it's more or less out of sight, so it ain't too shabby, I reckon. Let's get inside the cab here. Inside the cab, you can see they've got a nice seat's been redone, door panel's been redone, dash, factory gauges. This is your FI Tech computer or monitor or what have you. Obviously it's off, so none of this stuff is reading, but you can go through this, and it's pretty self-explanatory. At first, it's hard to kind of deal with, if I'm gonna be honest, just because, well, I take it back. This FI Tech unit right here, to know what to do to change settings and stuff, it does take a little bit of research, but it's not too bad. You know, a quick YouTube search and you'll figure out the majority of the stuff that you need to know. I'll say from my experience, really the only thing I had to do after initially setting this motor up was just change the IAC values, because the way the IAC was when I first set it up, it actually ran where the IAC was 100% open, and with that big throttle body, oh my god, that thing whistled so bad. But aside from that, this is a pretty good unit, and we're going to see how this goes for us. But again, I will say, normally I try to sell my customers on, you know, Holly or just using a standard 411 ECM. And this right here, it just come with the motor for a good deal, so why not? This thing's still running, it's running a turbo 350. This truck was actually a manual truck. And you see the small pedal there. It was actually a 3-speed truck. And I'm not too sure of the exact rear gear that this thing has, but I'm pretty positive this thing has got like a 410 or a 411, because when you're running down the highway at around 55 or so, it's it's running about 2,800 RPM. And then if you're running 60, it's running around 3,100 or so. And it's, oh my goodness, it's crazy. Anyways, this particular FI Tech system, it actually has the settings where you can run 2 O2 sensors, a driver and passenger bank O2 sensors. This one's, I've only got 1 O2 sensor in it, mainly because that's what it came with. But for that, it actually is pretty spot on. I will admit, if you can run 2 O2 sensors, you should do that. Just that little more information helps in case you got one bank that's running lean and one is running rich or whatever. Back here. Now in this tank, which obviously you can't see it, but in this tank here, we've got a Holley fuel pump module, one of their units. And what I just took and cut off the end where it was flared out at, put a compression fitting that goes from the hard line to AN. We done that, run new lines. In hindsight, there's a lot better way to do this, a lot simpler way, and that would be leave the metal lines under the truck and go hard line adapter from the metal line, a little short piece of flex or whatever, and then another hard line adapter off the fuel pump module. Then that way you have the factory fuel lines that are already routed, they're high pressure and everything. Only bad side is that they will come up on this side. But that, to some people, really wouldn't be a problem, because if you wanted to, you could actually cut the lines back there on the frame somewhere and then bring them up, have your fuel pressure regulator up here, and then go over. Or you could run them up here, fuel pressure regulator. There you go. I don't have the truck up in the air, so I could show you the underside of it, or don't have it jacked up. But I've actually got where these lines come out at. There's a fuel pressure regulator like right around in this area right here, mounted on the frame. Hard line comes out, and the way I've got the regulator set up, it's a feed into the regulator, then a return back to the tank, and then our supply, it comes up and then it branches out into a Y. And then it comes up the back side of the firewall here. Don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it comes up the back side of the firewall here, and then it Ys out to right there. It's a really good running truck. As far as I've driven it pretty much just about every day this past week. It's really fun. He's had some suspension stuff done to it, so it handles very well. These C10s are very great swaps. I will say the C10 LS swap headers that Speed Engineering makes are probably some of the best, lower priced headers out there. If you're doing these swaps or whatever, hey, go for it. Oh, motor mounts, I forgot. So what I've done with this, because I've done a million of these C10s, the ICT billet plates, use those. If I'm not mistaken, I think I usually use the first position on the plates. I get the plates that have, I think, the 4 positions where you can mount the motor in 4 different spots. I use those, and then that way it puts the transmission cross member in the same factory spot. You still have room on the back side of the head there, and everything's good to go. Anyways, we're still running there's a couple of things I forgot to tell you. Still running the factory radiator. I could have set this up for electric fans, but I didn't. I actually decided to run the factory clutch fan, the old GM clutch fan. And what I've got an adapter here and here, both from Speedway Motors. That way I can run the old style fan. If you do try to run a factory like LS style clutch fan with this, you can do it. As a matter of fact, this thing right here will run 199 all day long, whether it's sitting idling or driving down the road. But that clutch fan, what ends up happening is that it'll hit this just because it doesn't sit out far enough. Now, you could probably, you know, make an intake or something that would clear that, but the other bad thing is that the fan blades themselves actually stick out past the shroud. And honestly, this could go with a little bit longer, deeper spacer to get a little bit deeper in the shroud. But like I said, I've been driving it and I haven't had any issues with it heating or doing anything like that. So I don't think we're going to have any problems there. But like I said, this truck's definitely going to come back. We're going to finish the exhaust. We're going to go 3-inch off the headers back with Black Widow mufflers. He's going to bring it back also, I think, at a little bit later date after that. We're going to do wheel wood brakes up front. And then I think he's got like a couple of odd and end things he wants to do, just, you know, a little small, little more or less cosmetic things that he wants to get done. But like I said, this truck, it's for my UPS driver. I've enjoyed driving it. I know he's going to enjoy driving it. And it's on to the next project for me. It's actually a 87 C10 I've got up there. It's got a small block in it. I'm be converting that over. Well, I say converting it over. Fixing the factory AC, getting that back going, doing a rear gear in it, and a couple of odd end things. I think like adjusting the carburetor, stuff like that. If that is something that you would like to see here on the Coleman Mechanical channel, just, you know, mention it in the comments or whatever. I will admit I really haven't posted a lot of things lately. I say lately, probably in the last year or so, just because I've been busy with everything else. Actually right now I'm trying to do a land management job here at the house. I bought a bulldozer not too long ago, which actually I think I got a video of that, to start clearing here. And, you know, just been trying to just enjoy life, man, and not try to focus so much on stuff that really doesn't matter. So anyways, here's a nice exiting shot of this. What I'm going to do, I'll post some stuff in this video of when we went to the car show the other day on it with my little boy, and we took that other truck. And anyways, as Puddin would say, sitting on your ass is not going to finish your project. So whether you turning wrenches or you pay somebody else to do it, you might as well get out there and get after it. Bye.